7:39 at the Big 550 KTRS. That music every Thursday means it's time for Kathy Helbig with some real estate advice. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning.
You look great today.
Thank you.
So this is springtime. This has got to be a very, very busy time for you. Lots of houses to sell and buy, right?
There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on at the same time. So we have a lot of people that are selling and buying, and Missouri's kind of a different state that we do the closings the same day as when we're getting out of our house and getting into a house. So a lot of times people in other areas go, what, wait a minute, I don't get possession for a few days after I close so I can get my things out? Nada. Usually it's all happening in one day, which really allows for a lot of disastrous things to happen that make that closing day completely hectic for people.
And a lot of people are going to go through that this weekend because everybody wants to do it at the end of the month. Mm-hmm. So Saturday is the 30th. So
right, but we don't close on the weekends. So we're only, title companies only have banking hours. So that's another tip right there is don't, make sure you're not planning on closing on a weekend. So a lot of people want to do that Friday. Mm-hmm. But that's also a really bad idea because everybody's trying to close on Friday. And the problem is that the systems get backed up. If you have wire transfers, that gets all backed up. And then if there's any issues that happen on a Friday, it can't be resolved till Monday. So you've got people sitting in moving trucks, getting really, really angry, wanting to get into the other people's houses. They're trying to make deals. It's a bad situation.
So what's the pick day then?
The pick day is going to be probably Wednesday or Thursday. It gives you time to settle some things before the weekend and then have the weekend to move in. Mm-hmm. But a part of the thing is about closing times during the day. So a lot of times people will say, well, I'm going to work and we've got to pack up our house, so we want to come in and close at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 4 o'clock at the end of the day. Not a good idea either. Again, depending on what the situation is, if we have a domino effect of several closings that are happening, even though you may not be contingent or your buyer may not be contingent on somebody else's closing, they're counting on those funds to come through from their house that they're selling, or you're counting on your funds to come through. And if something happens down the line on either side and holds up that transfer of money, then everybody comes to a screeching halt. Mm-hmm. And then everybody starts screaming. Mm-hmm. So you want to start the process early, not first thing in the morning, because you want to get your walkthroughs in, your last second walkthroughs, especially this time of the year. We've had a couple recently that we went to the house right before closing and there was water pouring in. Mm-hmm. So things like that happen at the last second. So try to do your early morning walkthroughs and then go to your closing, have your closing scheduled around 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning is actually the peak time to do that, because wire transfer funding's cut off around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So if everybody's not in there doing their paperwork and getting things done, it's got to go from your lender to the title company, from that title company to the other title company, and into the seller's account, because they do not have to technically give you possession of their house until they've received the funding. So again, you've got people that came in and did everything they were supposed to do, but the money trail's lagging, and so the day ends and it can't transfer, and then the sellers can say, stop the moving trucks. You're not moving into my house.
Wow.
If they don't, you got to do extra paperwork. You got to get insurance about. It can be a nightmare.
Can you do something like close today, Thursday, the 28th, but make a deal with the other people? Okay, you know what? You can move in Sunday. Let's say they can make the moving company show up on Sunday.
Yes.
You know what? We'll close today, but you can't take possession until the 1st.
Yes.
Can you do that ahead of
you
time?
Can,
so you don't
but
have that
because we're all kind of spoiled and do things backwards here in Missouri, that's not the norm. So it's very much pushed against when someone requests that. It's called possession prior to closing or possession after closing. So there is a form for that. There is insurance policies that have to go in place. There's waiver of liabilities that have to happen. And occasionally someone will let that happen, but we're all kind of trained to know that there's a bunch of red flags that can, once somebody owns the house and then somebody else is still living in it, what happens if lightning strikes? What happens if the house burns down? What happens if somebody falls? There's a lot of extra headaches that people don't want to deal with, so they typically just go, no.
This is why you want a professional realtor on the job.
That's right.
And here's the best one we know, Kathy Helbig. You can find her online at KathyHelbigGroup.com. That's Kathy with a K.
Yes.
KathyHelbigGroup.com, and she's here every Thursday on McGraw Live in the Morning. Thanks, Kath.
Thank you.
7:43 at the Big 550 KTRS.
It's Thanksgiving, and that means